Hi, I'm Andy Acker, Director of Education for Schluter-Systems.
And I'm Brian Bouchard, Regional Manager for the Northeast.
We're going to do a continuous use steam room two-tiered bench right here in front of you. You can see we've got it all framed up with metal studs.
And we're going to be using a combination of two of our KERDI-boards, the 2-inch for the top of the bench and the 5/8" KERDI-board for the front or face.
So some of the benefits of the KERDI-board is that it's really lightweight, waterproof, it's easy to cut, very easy to handle. So we're going to be installing that here right on the metal studs. You could actually, because of the strength of KERDI-board, you could build this entire thing out of KERDI-board if you wanted to, but here, commercial application, this is what you're going to encounter quite often, so this is why we're using this. There is a bit of a slope here between the front and back framework, so we're going to have water, the water have the ability to shed off the top, and you can see that we're using a KERDI-Fix, which is a urethane-based caulking or something similar like that, and a little bit of a zigzag motion here to get that in place. So we'll have plenty of adhesive to adhere the KERDI-board right to the metal studs. This is going to be plenty strong, ready to go. So just a little press, work back and forth, and that's going to get us in place. Do the same on the lower tier. It's really up to you how you would build this, the sequence. You can put one over the top of the other just like you can KERDI or KERDI-DS, but here we went ahead and elected to put the 2-inch board on the tops, and then when we go to do the faces, they'll come right up here and come flush with the top piece. In place, good. All right, little press, that'll hold that right in place. Okay, now for the faces, as you said earlier, Brian, we'll use 5/8 board. And you could use the KERDI-Fix here also, just as we did in the same fashion as the tops, but we're electing to show you the option, which is to use fasteners. We could use fasteners on the top also. Just make certain that the self-tapping metal screws go in at least 3/8 of an inch into the stud. So let's put these in place. Again, pre-cut, ready to go. Okay, so this board's all fastened on, 12-inch on center, the framework, and typically we just need the fasteners every 12 inches, but because of the dimension here, we went ahead and put 3 in here, fastened on plenty tight, ready to go. Now it's time to do the same thing with the face piece down here. So we'll put that in place. The last thing is to put the end caps on, and this is again 5/8 KERDI-board, just like the faces, and they'll go on to the sides. And we do have the option to either use KERDI-Fix or the self-tapping metal screws and the washers, which is what we're going to do now. All right, now that that's done, the sides are on. It's all basically sheeted here. It's all covered with the KERDI-board. Now it's time to do extra waterproofing. Since this is a continuous use steam room, there's a requirement as far as the perm rating that's greater than, say, a residential type of steam room. So continuous use, commercial type application like this, we're going to need to use KERDI-DS. And the KERDI-DS is less than half of a perm, which is the requirement by both the Tile Council of North America and the Tile and Terrazzo Marble Association of Canada.
It actually is 0.19, so it's quite a bit lower than the recommended perm rating.
Yeah, so this is the DS, and it will apply right over the top here. It's going to cover everything that you're seeing here with this DS. So it's going to go on with thin set. You see that we've already folded it there to just give it a little bit of a tight, clean crease right there that we'll be able to follow right there. But this is going to go on with thin set. either any type of Schluter thin set or a dry set mortar from another manufacturer. A little technique that Brian is showing you here, which is always a good idea, which is to burn in the thin set, get it embedded into the substrate very well, and then we'll turn the notch trowel around and use the gauge, which happens to be an 8 by 8 square notch or 3/16 V notch. That's going to be the suitable amount of thin set we're going to leave on to actually install the KERDI-DS. So the same process here, burn it in, make certain it's going to be applied in. That way it also won't start to flash over or skin up on you too soon. So get the thin set out of the bucket, on the substrate, burned in and spread out, and then the last thing we'll do is flip the notch trowel around to the notch side and actually gauge how much thin set we're going to leave on there. Notice the directional troweling. That's a nice little tip in order to put the KERDI in and have all these ribs collapse so you get nice full coverage, as we did all one direction troweling, and then when we put the blade over the top of it, we'll be able to knock those ribs down. Here you go, Brian. Another nice technique is, since you have an outside corner, and we've pre-creased that so we knew exactly where to lay the KERDI-DS, but it also gives us a crisp corner here. And notice that Bryant went all the way along there and rubbed that in and firmly embedded the KERDI-DS into the bond coat, knocking it down, and now he's actually drawing away from that corner. That's going to give us a nice tight corner that won't blister or pucker on us. Okay, thank you, sir. Now that that's on, we would continue that on both of these surfaces too, but for this installation video, we're going to skip that right now and talk a little bit about the seams here, Brian. We're going to have to treat some of these seams. So we have a couple of options as far as how we would do this.
Yeah, for sure. We could have cut this longer by 2.5 inches and just folded it up to do a 2-inch overlap onto this wall, which is already waterproof. But for today's demonstration, we're actually going to use the 5-inch KERDI-BAND, which we folded and creased in half to give us 2.5 inches to the bench and 2.5 inches to the wall.
So that's plenty of overlap. And if you look at this, you'll notice that there's no right or wrong way as far as which one goes over which. And many people will say, well, maybe that should be shingle lap with this piece going over this. Not necessary. As long as you have a minimum 2-inch overlap, it's up to the installer as far as the sequence of installing. And we've pre-creased this lengthwise just to give us a good index of about 2.5 inches on each surface here. So nice little tip to do that. And of course it gives you a nice crisp inside corner. You will notice that this stuff does fold and will take a little bit of a memory like this, so it will give you really nice inside and outside corners. Again, same technique, firmly embed the membrane into the bond coat, collapsing the ribs and knocking out any air pockets or bubbles that might be underneath it. All right. So there we go. A couple more things. We're still not done, but we wanted to show you these. We do make one piece inside and outside corners. We put them there. We put them also down here. You can see how those go on. They just fit right in there. And then we would actually, if we're doing the KERDI-DS continuous, that treats the outside corner, then just a piece of KERDI-BAND here, just like we did down here, making certain that it overlaps 2 inches onto this piece, and we're good to go there. And then, Bryant, you showed the one down there, floor-to-wall connection, or in this case, since it's a steam room or steam shower, that could be a pan to the face there. We'd want to have a one-piece molded corner there too, and then we would just connect this either with KERDI-BAND or, as we did here, put the DS on.
With the KERDI-DS.
So that's how the installation goes. You always have to make certain that you follow all the specifications and written instructions. Schluter-Systems does have a shower system installation handbook, which also includes a steam room detail, so you could follow this to a T. So we want to thank you for watching.
Thanks.